the old one, it wasn't quite so pink and blue, if I recall correctly.
Well, this is the old one.
Yeah, that's the old Bill and Ted. But hey, everybody, welcome to session 4 of Groundskeepers. Now, if this is your first time joining us, I'll catch you up to speed real quick. Basically, we're a unique game of Star Trek adventures in that all the players are Undine, or you might know them better as Species 8472. Now, they're a part of a specific faction that is friendly with the Federation, and if you want to know more about that, I recommend checking out my Fenrir and October games because you will learn more about that there. What I would say though is you don't really need to have watched those other games to enjoy this one, but again, you're going to catch some references and nods if you do. And you can catch the VODs for everything on my YouTube and most of the popular podcast solutions. In terms of announcements this week, I just have two real quick ones. The first is obviously I'm still participating in Extra Life. That goes from now till I believe it's November 7th. And for the month of September, I'm donating 25% of my bits and subs to the cause, in addition to whatever you lovely people donate. So if you're interested in that sort of thing, check out the links below the stream. The other thing I would like to say is that tonight is going to be even more different than usual in that it's going to be a horror-themed session. Now, we sort of see horror a few times in Star Trek, especially in TNG. So it's one of those where your mileage will vary. So I'm not exactly sure how long tonight's session will go. Could be short, could be long. We'll find out together. But there's sort of your disclaimer if you're expecting something completely off the wall. But with that said, let's go around and have my two players introduce themselves, starting with John.
Hi, I'm John. I'm in the smoky confines of Seattle, and I am playing Tabris. And I am looking forward to seeing how our lighthearted characters deal with a horror-themed game.
And I'm Brian. I'm in the smoky Victoria, just west of Seattle in Canada. It'll be very interesting to see our happy-go-lucky dudes jaunt around in some horror.
Excellent. With that, let's go ahead and run our introduction. And welcome back. So something I do like doing for all of my games is having a player do the opening log, and today I think Rez has that honor.
Co-Captain's Log, Cycle 17 Omega 2.3. After the sweeping coup of actually adding life to the universe, the Troust, Tabris, and I find ourselves orbiting a Class J gas giant. Long-range sensors detected a strange domed city in orbit. But the curious thing is that our sensors weren't able to pierce the dome's outer shell. And so, we've dutifully gotten closer, but even more puzzling, despite our advanced sensors, we find the interior remains a mystery. I'm anxious to see how this plays out. We have yet to hear from Boothby after sending our reports. So while I anticipate they in command will be pleased with our previous mission, I still don't know. So hopefully this mission ends with another feather to add to our proverbial cap, just in case they focus too much on the decidedly dicey parts of our last mission.
Very nice. So, to sort of set the scene here, is the Troust is, as said, orbiting a gas giant near a floating dome city. Now, this dome city is almost arrayed in a hexagonal type fashion, where every single quote-unquote spoke or point of the hex has some form of a appendage or a docking arm that comes out from the central hub. In the very middle of this hexagon is a dome that stretches maybe about we'll say 4 to 5 kilometers. So it's fairly large in terms of a dome surface. What you can see though is that the dome itself is made of a transparent material. Your sensors aren't able to tell what exactly, like it's not transparent aluminum or something like that, but your sensors are able to at least do a visual inspection, and you can see that the city inside is, for lack of a better word, abandoned. You're not like seeing vehicles on the streets, you're not seeing people walking around, but you can't really get a good look from where you are right now. As in terms of the actual system you're in case it matters, there's of course the gas giant where all this is happening. It's a Class J, about the size of Jupiter. The star is somewhere on the neighborhood of a larger red giant, so pretty sizable star. There's also an asteroid belt that goes out beyond the gas giant, and that's about it. It's a fairly standard system, all things considered.
This gives John, the player, very Dark City vibes. So, should we dock and see what's going on?
I mean, maybe our first instinct shouldn't be to dock. Let's maybe try hailing them.
Oh,
Tavris?
I don't see anybody. But yeah, okay.
All right, so this is going to be a simple control and engineering, assisted by the ship's communications and engineering. Difficulty of 0, so free momentum for you.
Woot. Would an infiltration focus help?
I'll give it to you. I will give it to you.
And it was the ship's what?
Oh, God.
Communications and engineering. And I see we're starting off with a complication tonight. That's good.
Oh, boy.
It's always good.
Comms, engineering.
Oh, my goodness.
What?
We're going to die. This is the night we die.
I'm going to give you guys free momentum.
This was supposed to be easy. Okay. All right, I think I know what I want to have happen. So you do get the 1 momentum. You do get your 1 success and 1 momentum. But what happens is when the Trouse sends out a communication to the Dome City, what comes back is an ungodly, like, violin over sheet metal, like screeching metallic sort of horrific sound that not only causes the Trouse to spark and maybe even the communications to quite literally turn dark and burn out, but the Troust avatar that you're normally interfacing with actually deactivates.
Huh.
What did you do, Rez?
You know what, Tabris, don't worry about it. You just take us in closer. Let's get lined up for that dock, and I'll take a look and see whether the truss is having some sort of mechanical issue or something. Because I don't know. I don't know what just happened.
Yeah. Is this one of those things that we're going to agree to leave out of the report?
Oh, for sure. Yeah, let's definitely not mention this at all.
Okay.
We'll just say we made the standard efforts to contact them before we docked.
All right. So what we're doing is we're going with my original plan.
Oh, yeah, for sure. Yeah, it looks like you were the smartest one on the room this one. Yeah.
Nice. All right, now this is going to seem an odd question, but let me actually draw a quick hexagon on the map. I'm curious, what spoke would you be docking at? Let me pick a color that can see here. Oh, I see what it's doing. It's trying to do brush instead of line. There we go. All right, so let's say that it's a very rough hexagon, but let's say that's the hexagon. Which spoke would you guys like to come in at?
I think we'll go to the one that is just screaming our name because it is so pushed out there. We'll go with the west one.
The western one. Okay. So the Troust comes in, and you make to dock with the arm. And what happens is the arm itself begins to split open, and you realize that it's not actually a solid docking arm like an umbilical. What it is it's almost like a collapsed claw. So the claw sort of unfurls itself and very gently, very tenderly, sort of clamps down onto the Troust. And from what would be the palm of the claw, extends that gangway that then connects with your airlock.
Rez, I'm starting to rethink our plan.
I mean, why? This technology isn't any weirder than any other technology we've seen.
Yeah, but I don't know. I'm kind of getting the heebie-jeebies here.
What are the heebie-jeebies? Is that like a medical thing? Should I alert command? I don't understand.
No. No, never mind.
All right, you're sure? You're feeling all right though? Like this isn't like should we like put on some quarantine suits or something? Like I don't want to infect this new civilization that we're about to meet with some sort of Heber jabbers that might like kill them. You don't know what their immune systems are like.
Well, I mean, that could be said about any civilization we run across.
All right, you make an excellent point. Sure.
I mean, are we going to just suit up in protective gear every time?
You know, now that you raise that point, we should actually. I mean, if we're gonna worry about carrying disease, I mean, we're not gonna get a disease, obviously, but we might carry them. I guess you know what? What we'll do is we'll just get the Troust to put in like a disinfectant shower through the airlock so that we always get cleaned. So we're not bringing anything from the ship to the place. Yeah. Anyway, we'll figure it out later. We should be fine without suits, I think.
All right. So before you go aboard, I do have to ask: are you taking any special equipment with you?
I mean, not other than my Undine brand tricorder and my Undine brand phaser.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, those are the same things I'm bringing.
Okay. Alrighty. So
I'm also going to bring a thermos of chicken noodle soup.
Which replicator pattern?
Beta.
Beta. Solid choice. So as you secure your thermos and you head to the airlock, of course, the Troust does its best to immediately apply that disinfectant spray, so that way nothing in the air from the Troust goes into the actual station itself. So there's kind of that moment where you're just sort of that one moment in Mass Effect 1 where you're just sort of sitting at that airlock waiting to cycle through as the map loads, etc., etc. But what happens is when the other side of the airlock opens and you're gained access to the station, what immediately hits your nostrils is the smell of blood. So that very copper, very pungent smell that is typical of, say, a murder scene or any place where blood has been spilled in great quantities. But the strangest thing is, in the corridor you're seeing, there's no blood. In fact, it's an immaculate corridor made of corrugated metal, or at least something that's been designed like such. And the passageway is fairly large. You could maybe fit like a Terran elephant in here if you really wanted to. But you're not seeing, again, no people, no drones, nothing.
This is fresh blood or like old blood?
I would say that this smells like it has been recently spilled.
All right, Terrace, you wanna go first, buddy? As our security expert, I just want you to know that I don't want to be standing in your line of fire. I just really want to be clear of that.
Oh of course, and of course, as our science officer, you'll be scanning for everything.
Oh, for sure, yeah. We're not through the dome yet, right? Like we're not under the dome, so we'd still. I assume we're still not getting any kind of new readings.
Correct.
Okay. Yeah, I mean, I'm not reading anything new. We're probably not going to get anything until we get under whatever that dome is. Although I'd really like a closer look at that, because, I mean, if it's not transparent aluminum and it's not like a what do I want? Like a biological phenomena, then we might be able to like incorporate it into the Troust. Maybe we'd have like a domed like garden, and we'd be able to sit there and look out at the void and be scared, right?
So, I'm a little concerned. So, Tabris is going to just take some take some general readings, medically speaking.
All right. In that case, it's going to be a reason medicine difficulty of 1.
Let's see.
And you would have a focus for this, looking at your focus list.
Oh, nice. I don't know whether or not that's a good thing or not. Because the only one I can think of that applies is the first one. And I'm like, no, I don't want that one to apply.
Mm-hmm. 1 success. So when you run the medical scan of the air and the environment, what you see is interesting. Of course, that could be said of many things, but what I mean is, remember how in Voyager episode 5-4, where the whole concept of this started, where the Undine made a station to look like Starfleet's San Francisco?
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
You're seeing an exact copy of that on your scans.
What's
So this may actually be Undine.
No, it's definitely not Undine. Like, the Trust would have known.
Well, here, look. And he shows him the scanner.
Oh, that's not. I mean, that can't be right. Can we Trust? Are you back up yet?
Nothing.
All right. Well, we'll pipe those back to the Trust to do a full analysis, but I wouldn't trust those readings. That can't be right.
Just because you couldn't open communications doesn't mean I can't scan a hallway.
Yeah, but listen, if the results you're getting are impossible, then I think they're probably wrong.
You know, they do say, once you've eliminated all of the other possibilities, the remaining possibilities, no matter how out there, must be true.
Yeah. Okay. So run me through all of the possibilities you eliminated, Tabris, before you assumed that your scan was right and that we were looking at a station that shouldn't exist.
I ran through a lot, and he just keeps walking down the hall.
Don't leave me here
already.
All right. So it's the strangest thing where you don't really have a map of the station, but it almost feels like you have that innate gut feeling like, yeah, I need to go this way or I need to go that way, turn left here, turn right there to get where you're going. And as you all are, following your gut, quote unquote, I'd like you each to roll me a fitness and a medicine, please. The difficulty is a 1.
Oh, no. Well, can I use survival as a focus?
I'll give it to you. I will give you survival as a focus.
Oh,
all right, that's 1 for Rez, so Rez is fine. Tabris gets momentum. I believe you're up to 2 momentum with that. Very nice. So, you notice out of the corner of your eye every once in a while that there's something following you, or at least you kind of get that sense that there's a shadow, and when you turn to look, the shadow isn't there anymore. But as you're going through these large corridors, there's something behind you.
Tabris, I do not like this.
So, do the Undine just copy the Terrans in a sense of, like, our computers respond to computer, or is there another way? Like, if I truly believe this is an Undine station, how would I communicate with any sort of computer system on board?
I would say if this is like San Francisco replica, you could just simply say computer XYZ. But the one thing I would say is that while your readings indicate that this is like San Francisco, visually it's nothing like it. Mm-hmm. Or at least, again, what you're seeing so far. It could be different once you get into the dome, but as a reminder, I did mention the Golden Gate Bridge as something you saw when you first came in.
Mm-hmm.
Golden Gate, that's New York. I know what I meant.
No, Golden Gate is San Francisco.
Yeah. I'm getting my cities. Ignore me. I'm having a moment.
It'd be weird if we ignored you, but we'll give you this one. I reach out telepathically to see if I can get some sense of what it is that's following us.
Ooh, fun, fun, fun. I need you to now roll me a fitness and a command at a difficulty of 3.
Oh no.
You
I'm
can
gonna
use
spend.
one of these
I'm
momentum.
gonna spend one of those momentum.
Wah!
And I would like to apply espionage as
I'll
a
give it to you.
focus. All right, let's see how this goes. I need 3 successes.
You need 3 successes.
All right, well, let's see how it goes.
You get 3 successes. So you reach out, Rez, and because you succeeded, remember how I said that when you open communications, that ungodly wail came through communications? You get that same sort of feeling in your mind. Only this time you're prepared for it, so you immediately know to shut down the volume, shut down the link, etc., before it burns anything out in your head. But whatever's going on here isn't something you're going to be able to telepathically communicate with, which is saying something because the Undine usually overwhelm other species, not the other way around.
All right, Tambris, I just tried to reach out telepathically to sort of feel out what it is that we're dealing with, and I would recommend not doing that. It is definitely whatever it is. Do you remember that sound we heard over the sensors, over the comms? It's like that, but in your brain, and it was very unpleasant. So I'm going to turn the gain up on my tricorder here, and I think we should walk back to back because I do not want to be blindsided by something.
Okay. Computer, increase illumination by 10%. He just gives it a shot.
Yeah, he gives it a shot. I tell you what happens is one of the lights, probably about 5 or 10 meters ahead of you in the corridor, it flickers a little bit.
And then sparks shoot out, it shudders and then goes out. Oh, good. Place is in good repair. Yeah, I turn around, I increase the scan intensity on my tricorder, and then I sort of back so that my shoulders are touching Tabris's shoulders.
Nice.
Rez, I'm not really good at the scientific stuff, but is there any way you can tell how old this place is?
Oh yeah, it should be. Yeah, let's do that. That shouldn't be too hard. Hopefully.
Yeah.
I do a scan to determine age of composite material next to us.
Let's do a reason science. Difficulty of 1.
I have metallurgy.
That would definitely apply.
Nice.
This will be the one time in my entire Groundskeepers career that metallurgy will be helpful.
And you get 1 success.
Oof, I'm just scraping by the.
So
except for that first one.
Yeah, except for that very first one. So you know how you already have that feeling that something's wrong? According to your tricorder, that panel on the wall you just scanned was made 2 hours ago. All
right. Tabris, I don't think these tricorders are working. Because according to these scans, that panel is 2 hours old, and that's not. We spent days traveling to the system to get closer to this city. So unless it's making its own interior geography as we cross it, I can't. And there's no sign of that. I don't know how to explain these readings.
Tabris, on a hunch, is thinking about how cool it would be if they came across a snow cone machine.
Okay. What flavor?
Strawberry.
Funnily enough, when you turn the next corner, you don't see a snow cone machine, but floating midair is a snow cone.
Rez?
I'm talking like one of those paper sort of things that you would get at the fair, and then just a strawberry snow cone on top of it.
Rez, I don't want to worry you or anything, but I was just thinking about a snow cone, and do you want to look forward?
Sure. Let's rotate. Let's rotate 180. We'll do the.
We'll do the rotation.
Yeah. So first of all, what's a snow cone? Second of all, is it the thing I'm looking at? And third of all, is it supposed to float in the air like that?
Yes and no. And try it. They're actually really good.
Wait, is it a thing I'm supposed to eat?
Yeah, you eat it.
All right, it looks too big for these mouths, but all right.
Oh no! You take as big a bite as you can, but you're not going to be able to eat the whole thing in one bite.
Oh, okay. What about this? What about this seeming, this like deciduous wrapping at the bottom? Well, should I just like tear a hole in that and suck it out the bottom? Like, is that how do these work?
Well, that's what you do after a little while because it'll melt a little bit.
Oh, so it's frozen H2O.
It's a frozen treat.
Mm-hmm. All right, I scan it before I eat it.
All right. We'll make this a task because you can't possibly roll complications again.
Right?
Reason science difficulty of 0. And if you literally roll complications again, I will just have the best time in the world. Okay,
hey.
No complication. You get a momentum. There's no snow cone there according to your tricorder. There's just air there.
All right. Yeah, these tricorders. I reach forward to try and grab the thing.
It feels solid. You pick it up. It feels nice and cold.
All right. I think our tricorders are pretty much out of order. Maybe it's something to do with the Troust being down based on the communication error. But yeah, these tricorders are not reading anything. Like I couldn't even detect this snow cone. That's you call it a snow cone?
Mm-hmm.
All right. I take a bite.
It's very nice. It's strawberry flavored.
Oh, this is very sweet.
Yes.
Also, now my head hurts. Oh wait, it's passing. Oh, all right. Oh, it seems to be passing. Well,
you're so lucky.
Luckily, I assume that was a.
I have never experienced what you just experienced.
What, you mean your immune system fighting off some sort of? I'm going to throw this away because it seems to have attacked me.
It's called a brain freeze.
I mean, there's a joke here that I could make about how, of course, you've never experienced one. But first, explain to me what they are.
Well, I mean, human scientists go back and forth all the time. And he goes off on this long speech about what brain freezes are and how they were invented by a Earth scientist called 7-Eleven.
Oh, Lord. I almost want to hear that speech. Like, just a small part of me wants to hear it, but I understand what you mean. But the one thing that you notice as all this is going on is that, Rez, maybe your attention wanders from the snow cone, and then when it wanders back, it's gone. Like, it's out of your hand. Like, your hand is still, like, holding the air as if it was there, but the snow cone is gone.
Okay, Tabris, did you take that from me?
No, and I thought it was actually kind of rude you didn't share it.
Well, it's gone. I would have offered you some.
Mm-hmm.
I'm sure. If I didn't think it was A, poisoned, and B, it vanished. Did you say you were thinking of a snow cone and a snow cone appeared?
Yes, because I had a theory about why the panel was the way it was.
So we're assuming that it's some sort of response to our mental thoughts.
Yes.
You know, as opposed to our non-mental thoughts. Well, in which case, you and I should be able to shield our minds, and maybe we should see what's genuinely here.
All right, that sounds good.
All right. So I'm trying to think about what I should make this as a task. Why don't we call this a fitness and a command? And I would say it's at a difficulty of 3 for each of you. And if you pass, your mind is shielded. If not, well, it's not shielded.
Oh, boy.
I'll use one of them and you use the other momentum.
That sounds good. will survival work as a
I think
focus here?
yeah, survival could apply.
You're gonna use the hell out of your survival today.
Mhm.
It was the opposite of metallurgy. I was like, I'll take metallurgy because it's character appropriate, but I'll never get to use it. I'll take survival because like the character survived a thing, and also I'll be able to use survival all the time.
Mhm.
No, I only got 2.
All right, so no help for Rez.
I mean, come on. I have human trivia as a focus, so
I mean, yeah, clearly we didn't power build these characters.
yes.
All right. So you're not going to run into any more snow cones as Tabris is successfully able to shield their mind. But Rez, I'm very curious. What is on your mind right now?
Well, I'm still trying to figure out why the communication system burned out when we beamed it through the Trouse systems. That shouldn't be a thing that happens. Especially, we shouldn't have lost the Avatar because those systems aren't connected. So I'm envisioning that whole mechanism and trying to piece together where that short must have been that it would have affected both systems.
So what happens is, as you are sort of paused in this corridor, there's that shriek again, this time over some unseen loudspeakers. But then a panel on the wall, maybe the same one you just scanned, burns out and falls off of the wall and just sort of fizzles, much like the communication systems of the Trouse did.
Okay, we're in trouble. All right, say something happy that I could think about while we're in a weird station, probably full of ghosts.
Pinatas.
Oh, what's a pinata?
Oh, a pinata is a very traditional Latin American construct that holds a bunch of candy inside, and you beat it with sticks until the candy falls out.
This does not seem like, oh god. Who oh, now I'm picturing a bunch of thugs with sticks. This is a terrible oh god. I'm gonna Res the Troust.
Nothing.
Okay, listen, Tabris, I think we should go back to the ship. You do know where the ship is, right? Because it just occurred to me that I think I'm lost.
You're lost?
Yeah, I'm definitely lost. My sense of direction is blown. As soon as we turned around, I lost where we were.
What the ship is that way, right?
Yeah, but how many right turns do we take? Was it 3 or 7? I don't know.
What, don't we want to explore this place?
Yeah, but if it's responding to our thoughts and panels are blowing out, we're in some real trouble. Because I can imagine a bunch of ways that this station could decompress and kill us instantly. And now I'm trying really hard not to think of all of them.
Rez, I need you to roll me a d20, please. A 15. So, because I find it funny, you hear some sort of like ghostly wail coming up the corridor the way you're facing. It's like an ooh type noise.
Chavez, you hear that, yeah?
And you do.
Yeah, I hear it.
It's coming from ahead of me. Can we turn around again? You have a better gun.
Tabris swaps positions.
So, did either of you ever play the game Viva Pinata? Or at least seen some marketing from it?
Yep.
All right. So I want you to imagine like a very festive, like looking pinata. It's orange and green, but it's see-through, like a ghost pinata, and it's wielding a stick, and it is currently flying at you at ludicrous speed.
All right. I think it's time to shoot the pinata.
All right. Well, if you're going to shoot the pinata, that's going to be a control security difficulty of 2.
Oh,
2
yeah.
successes.
Oh.
So you hold out your phaser and you fire it at the ghost pinata. Words I never thought I'd say. You fire it at the ghost pinata, and it explodes into translucent candy all over the place.
Okay. Troust looks, not Troust. Tabris looks at the ship or looks at the hallways. That's not what he was thinking.
The
Don't
station is
tell
silent.
don't tell it that. All right, I'm thinking of a straight shot to the dome so we can scan it and figure out what the dome is made of. A straight shot to the dome, straight shot to the dome, straight
And
shot to the dome.
it's the strangest thing as, oh, hello, we have a raid. Hello, Yancha Gogo. How you doing there? Hi there, Raiders. If you're just tuning in, this is a Star Trek Adventure stream, which, it's kind of one of my mainstay games. But yeah, of course, if you like following, I'd love to see it. But back to the point here. What was I saying? Yes. So you think of a straight thought to the dome, and strange enough, you make maybe one more left side, or you take one more left-hand turn, and you emerge into what is essentially an abandoned city. And as you're looking around, it's almost human in origin, where you're seeing these big old apartment blocks, maybe 7 to 10 stories tall, that are just sort of dilapidated and otherwise in disrepair. And you're currently walking out into what is essentially a highway or a raised sort of street that runs the gambit from the external side of the dome to the internal side of the dome, if that makes any sense. But what you're also seeing is that part of the dilapidation is nature based. So you're seeing trees, you're seeing bushes, you're seeing grass sort of mixing with the asphalt and otherwise giving a nature has taken over again, quote unquote, feel. Um, there's also something very odd. You hear the sound of bird chirping. So picture your favorite bird, and that's what you're hearing.
To scan for life forms, I'll do the same.
Mm-hmm.
All right. So I'd like you to give me each of you separately, unless you want to assist each other. I need a reason and a science at a difficulty of 2. And no, survival will not count as a focus.
No, yeah, I assume not. I was looking at the rest of these to see but I don't think any of them will apply. Nope. I only got
All
one.
right. So again, your tricorders just are not giving you any data. According to them, you're in what is essentially another metallic corridor. Like it's showing a wall where there clearly is not a wall, kind of a thing.
Oof. Tavers, what are the odds that we are getting accurate readings, but we are not perceiving correctly? Like maybe this is
we could very well still be in the hallway.
What if this is a holodeck situation where in the sense that it works similar to the technology for holodecks, where you and I are together, and the simulation is actually moving around around us rather than us moving around inside it.
No, I like your idea.
Computer door. Computer arch.
No arch appears.
And I thought that might be too easy.
Tabris is going to try to focus and concentrate on seeing the walls for what they are. If that makes any sense.
It does. And I'll tell you what, I'll even give you an advantage because you did succeed on shielding your mind earlier. Why don't you go ahead and roll me a insight and a science, or an insight in engineering. Let's call this a difficulty of 2.
I don't think you could have picked 2 worse things for me to roll.
No, it's almost like I planned that for a reason.
Yeah.
Nice. Yeah. Unfortunately, you're just sort of seeing this dilapidated city. But one thing that will immediately catch your attention, both of you, is that as you maybe start to proceed down one of the streets, you eventually come to a boulevard, and scattered throughout the boulevard is a copious amount of rags. So you're seeing rags, you're seeing bits of fabric, bits of cloth, and they're just sort of lying in clumps where you might expect to have seemingly seen people.
Does it look like each little pile is representative of one person worth of clothing?
Conceivably, if they were humanoid sized.
How
Like
old does the fabric look?
one pair of pants, one shirt, that kind of thing?
Yeah, that kind of thing where it's one person's worth of clothes. How new it looks? It looks very new, like probably fresh out of the factory new.
Oh,
Right, Rez, this person wasn't wearing underwear.
under what?
Oh, nothing. Never mind.
All right. So, hey, listen, I have consumed a little bit of Earth media, and this is reminding me a lot of a thing that I don't want to tell you about because I'm afraid if I say it out loud, it'll become true.
Ooh, can I try to guess?
I mean, I don't think, considering the actual, what I assume is the science behind this, I don't think it really matters, so I'm just going to tell you. Have you ever seen that martial arts movie where the...
Oh, Gymkata? I love that movie.
No. I think it's called Defend the Block, where the inner city kids have to defend themselves against an alien attack.
Oh, okay.
I only know what some of those words mean. I'm not sure what inner city kids are. They would refer to themselves as that. But yeah, the city kind of looks like this, minus the clothes all over the place. But I mean, this looks like something vaporized all the intelligent organic material, leaving only plant material and the city.
Is there any residue on the clothing? Any sort of biological residue?
There is actually, and I'll get. Well, you don't have momentum, so let's actually make this a roll to hopefully get you guys momentum. Reason, medicine, difficulty of 0. Just don't roll complications.
Yeah.
Or it might turn out that residue.
Yay!
One success, so you get 1 momentum. So the residue you're seeing is human.
See, it's human. Well, maybe.
All right, so
maybe it's human because we think it's human.
So we're seeing a human city floating in the sky around a cloud. There was no other planet in this system that could have supported life, was there?
Not that well, you're the science officer.
No. Yeah, I think I'm thinking out loud more than really asking you, Tavers. Which means that this must be an extra systemic structure. It's even more weird than I thought. I don't remember. Did you take a look at the scans from the outside? I don't remember seeing any kind of engine structure, so something must have towed this here and then just left it? Where would they get resources?
Well, that's if it is what we even think it is.
Well, I mean, I didn't see. Well, yeah, and the other part of this is I didn't see any localized starship traffic. Like, there's no. It's not like there's a bunch of starships passing this way all the time. What is this?
Tabarus puts his hands together. Hello!
And it echoes, hello, 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 hello. And then you hear something that makes your blood run cold. Now, up to this point, I've been describing, inhuman shrieks, inhuman sort of sounds. This one is decidedly human. This is the sound, if you will imagine for me, this is the sound of a mother who is literally watching their child in pain. So maybe the child getting stabbed or something like that, like something that would elicit the almost blood-curdling level of female scream, if that makes any sense.
Oh. I immediately break into a run in that direction,
okay.
Forgetting that I'm concerned about my own safety.
All right. Tabris, do you follow?
Yeah.
Okay. So as you sprint down the streets towards the source of this wailing, you eventually emerge into another boulevard. And in the middle of the boulevard is a robot, or what could be construed as a robot. It's basically a bunch of Matryoshka squares that are stacked on top of each other. So you have one big box at the bottom, you have a slightly smaller box on top of that, and it goes all the way up. It's maybe it starts off at the bottom as a meter by meter by meter, and then it maybe goes up to about a third of a meter at the very top. So it's a fairly sizable robot, all things considered. But the reason you think it's a robot and not just like a bit of art or something like that is the amount of diodes and a lot of the flashing lights and what could be construed as sensor antennae sticking off of this thing. And it is currently looming over a pile of clothes, or what is essentially a pile of clothes that is falling to the ground.
Oh no, we're too late. I out of instinct, I trying to use my tricorder to detect any weapons residue, weapon fire, and any recent weapon fire in an effort to figure out what we're in an effort to figure out what we're facing.
Sure, go ahead and roll me an insight and a security difficulty of 2. And yes, you do have a focus.
Nope.
All right. Well, I'll tell you what, I'll let it succeed at cost, but I'm going to take 2 threat for it.
Sure.
So what you see is that, yeah, that robot, android, whatever you want to call it, box droid, yeah, it's got disruptors, and it literally just vaporized what could have been a human.
Tabris, take cover. Let's open fire.
Okay.
We look like humans. Like, we're not gonna.
All right, so let me. I didn't think you guys would actually shoot it. I guess I should have expected better. We just very quickly throw a box on here that we could pretend is the robot.
A box.
A box.
Hey! It's Boxy the robot.
Yep, there you go. There's Boxy the robot. Best drawing in the West. All right, so you're taking a shot at it. Who's shooting first, and what are you shooting with?
I'm shooting with my nice little Undine gun.
All right, so go ahead and roll me a control security difficulty of 2.
Oh!
Oh no.
Oh dear. So I think Tabris, what happens is, as is classic in my game, you go to push the button to get the phaser to fire, and it just goes err, and then it starts to charge up and emit a very high pitched whine.
God. He's gonna have to try to fix it. Actually, he's gonna give it some res. Here, fix this.
And the good news is, because you haven't actually hit the robot yet, you're not technically in combat yet.
I throw him my phaser, and then I start trying to fix the phaser he just handed me.
All right, so to fix this overloading phaser, that's going to be a control or a daring plus engineering difficulty of 2.
I don't think I have a focus. No, probably not. All right. Nope.
Yeah, so unfortunately the phaser is still overloading, and everything you're doing is just delaying the inevitable at this point.
I pop its power supply out so it doesn't explode.
All right, so you pop out the power supply, the bit of battery, and now you have an overloading battery in your hand.
Throw the battery at the robot.
I throw the battery at the robot.
Nice. Tell you what, if you give me a momentum, you can hit the robot with the battery.
Done. Yeah.
All right. So you hit the robot in its head with the battery, and it kind of goes twink, and it falls to the ground, and then the battery catches on fire and does like a miniature like poof as the battery cells ignite and explode. But the robot just very slowly turns to look at you, and it's a very almost like what I've drawn here, just 2 squarish eyes, a thin line for what could be construed as a mouth, and it just sort of looks at you and then says, trying to think, because I'm trying to figure out how to say this. You know how binary would sound if you were to say it really, really quick? So 10101111, like really, really fast? Imagine that, but it's also in hex, not binary. So you're getting 1 through 10, but also A through F, if that makes any sense.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm. Ooh.
That sounds like a you thing.
Yeah, it kind of does. I modify my tricorder to translate to machine, like from machine language to some sort of comprehensible output.
Yeah. Go ahead and roll me let's call this an insight engineering difficulty of 1.
Computers is a focus.
Oh, most definitely. 1 success. So
Wow.
the message you translate is this. New life form detected. Please proceed to Spire for processing.
All right. Did you? Yeah, I read it out loud to Tabris. I'm like, what is the Spire? Do you think? And should we proceed there? I feel like processing has a really ominous sound to it.
Tabaris smiles and waves at it. 48690A0A.
Oh, it doesn't really have arms to wave back at you, but it just sort of stares in your direction a little bit longer, and then it repeats the message to Rez.
Yeah, it's definitely telling us to go to the Spire for processing.
Ask it where the Spire is.
Um,
And of course, Tabaris is looking around for a big old Spire.
All right. So as this is going on, you maybe look up the road deeper into the dilapidated city. Apparently, that's our word for today, dilapidated. But we look down the street and we see in the distance, of course, like most cities, the further you get in, the higher the buildings get. But what really catches your attention is probably the tallest building, maybe about the size of maybe about the World Trade Center before it went down. So fairly sizable building. So what is that? 100 and some odd floors? You think I'd remember? Basically, it's a very, very tall skyscraper is what I'm getting at. But there's 2 of them, and they're both the same size. But what you do notice is they are connected by what appears to be a sky bridge.
I see if I can get the tricorder to I feed it some input, which is where's the Spire, and then see if it'll broadcast in auditory with the computer voice.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
That in hex.
Roll me a control and engineering difficulty of 0. Hopefully to get you some momentum. That is no momentum. Well.
I mean, I'm not. The chances of my failing this often with these numbers is not good.
I mean,
I'm very lucky at not being lucky, apparently.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. I think what happens is the robot, you feed it and your tricorder spits out something, but the robot just sort of turns its head back and begins like combing through the bits of cloth as if it's looking for something.
I'm going to watch it to see if it finds anything.
Okay. So if you'll imagine basically what is essentially a Roomba trying to run over a pile of clothes, that's what it's doing right now. And you hear like a sucking sound or some sort of a vacuum that's happening. And after a moment, it pulls back from the pile of clothing. And you see on your tricorder, I think, with, simple scan, that the organic residue that was present on the cloths has been consumed by the robot.
Oh, Tabris, I do not like this at all. But I think we should get out of sight of this thing, because if it decides that we're its next meal.
All right, let's head to the Spire.
Okay. So my question is, when you're going towards the Spire, are you going to take a straight shot there? Are you going to maybe go down some alleyways so that you're less exposed? Because right now you're kind of in the open in terms of the city.
Oh yeah.
we should.
We're going side paths.
Side paths? Okay.
Yeah.
So what you're noticing is that the closer and closer you get to the spire, the more bits of clothing you're seeing, the more piles of clothing. And it gets to the point where you eventually arrive maybe about 3 blocks away from the spire itself, when the entire streets that you're looking out from like an alleyway, the entire street from curb to curb is just covered in bits of clothing. No more robots, though. Only just the one robot that you've seen so far.
Tabris, I don't like this.
Well,
I don't know. There doesn't appear to be anybody left.
Well, somebody was here. I mean, we heard the scream.
Yeah, and then we saw her clothes fall to the ground, man.
Yeah, but the chances of there only being one person.
Okay, fair. On the other hand, they're probably not going to be out in the open like we are. So maybe we should try cutting into some of these buildings.
It's not a bad idea.
Maybe we should check the entrances for signs of recent access and see if we can find a building that might have life inside. Since our tricorders are pretty much useless at detecting it.
Tabris is going to look for any sort of markings.
Mm-hmm.
You know, anything that kind of looks like if you were like a member of a resistance, where you'd be like,
like
little,
a circle in
yeah.
chalk with a line through it,
Yeah.
or like 3 tally marks means this is like the 3rd stop. Things like that. I gotcha. Roll me a insight and a security difficulty of 1.
Yeah, looking basically for hobo marks.
I think that's actually what they're called too.
Mm-hmm. Oh yeah!
Hey, there you go. 3
Look
successes.
at that.
All right, so that is 2 momentum for you finally. Yeah, now that you're looking actively for them, you do see what appear to be some form of a symbol structure here. So one building, for example, has a circle with a line through it. Another one has a circle with like a half moon drawn underneath of it. And then another one has 3 tally marks in the middle of the circle. And then these 3 seem to repeat every so often.
I point them out to Rez. See?
All right, cool. Hey, while we investigate this, hand me your tricorder. These don't seem to be useful. I'll see if I can jury rig these batteries to power the phaser rifle.
Oh, that'd be good.
All right. I'm going to try and take
I think
batteries.
there's something about this place that is just disrupting everything. Our communications from earlier, our weapons now.
Agreed. I'm going to try and take these 2 batteries and connect them and reroute the thermionic reciprocating sustainer so that it'll function as one power source for the phaser rifle. But I think I'm going to have to tie it on there with a piece of my sleeve. So let's see if this works first.
Tabris just picks up a piece of clothing. You can use this.
Oh, good point, actually. Yeah, let's just use some of the cloth that's all around us.
I was wondering to see if you would actually go for it. But yeah, let's get you some momentum here. Control and engineering difficulty of 0. In before complications.
Famous last words.
Mm-hmm. Hey, 2 momentum for you, so you're up to 4. So yeah, you're able to jury rig what is essentially an overpowered power supply for your phaser.
All right, but the tricorders are both dead now because they weren't being very useful anyway.
Well, that's the strangest thing. When you go to look back at your tricorder, they're working in the absence of a battery.
Okay, Tabris, we definitely can't trust any of these readings because, as you can clearly see, I've taken the battery out of this tricorder, but also, check it out, it's still displaying readings.
Well, it could be that this place in itself has ambient power that is being drawn into the device.
That would be quite the coup. because even our ships don't have onboard power that functions in sufficient amperage and voltage to power devices without also then causing damage to cellular structures passing through those fields.
Well, they did say, well, never mind. I was going to tell you a little bit about this guy named Nikola Tesla, but we'll continue.
But Tabris, at the mention of cellular decay and cellular problems, I can do English today, you know what I mean. I would say give me a reason medicine difficulty of 1, and you will have a focus for this one as you sort of look at yourself and do a self-assessment.
That's not good.
1 success, which is all you need. So, yeah, now that he's mentioned it, you are sort of feeling like your extremities are maybe decaying a little bit, which is really odd.
Yeah, Rez, I think it might be power in the air because look, I mean, I appear to be decaying slightly.
As our medical officer, what do you think we should do about that?
I think we should try to go into one of these buildings. I'm thinking the one with the 3 tally marks.
Okay, 3 tally mark building it is. I'm surprised that you're suggesting we continue, but you know what? It's your expertise. Let's do this.
Well, and then, I at least want to make some sort of attempt at communication. Otherwise, we're going to have to admit this entire encounter from our logs. And, the command might not like that.
No, we won't admit it. We'll just say that nothing happened. It was non-eventful. Those can happen.
But it hasn't been non-eventful.
What event do you want to report to command at this point?
That's exactly what I'm trying to get at.
So it was a non-eventful. Anyway, all right, yeah, let's go into the building.
All right, now I'm going to do something a little bit weird here, and this worked out well for the Matahari group, but I'm interested to see how you two fare. So you go into one of these 3 tally mark buildings, and would you go in at a ground level? Would you go maybe up to the 2nd, 3rd, 4th floor, maybe?
No, I'd probably go in ground level.
Ground
It
level.
wouldn't even occur to me to.
Okay. So you go in ground level, and when you enter into the lobby of this building, you see that it is actually in rather good repair. I mean, obviously the exterior looks like it's seen the ravages of time. Interior looks almost spotless in a way. But this is where the interesting comes in. Rounding the corner at the same time as you all is a copy of yourselves. And I'm just gonna give them. We'll call this one Res 2, and we'll call this one Tabris 2. And for one of those brief moments, you look at yourself, and you look at yourselves looking at yourselves, and then you both try to speak at the same time.
Tabris, what do we do?
How long have you been here?
They ask the exact same question of you. How long have you been here? Kind of a thing.
About 2 hours, say, give or take.
That's how long we've been here.
What's your ship name?
It's the Troust.
Huh. Hey, what would happen if we restricted the macroscopic thermionic reciprocating sustainer on the Troust?
Well, that's simple, says Res number 2. The Troust would experience a cascading ion flow and it would explode.
Tabris, that's right. That is what would happen. I think for all intents and purposes, we're looking at copies of ourselves.
All right. Which movie won the first official Best Picture Academy Award?
Out of character, I have no idea. Oh, Lord. I'm not going to Google it. But Tabris does say something to the effect of somewhere in the neighborhood of the correct answer, but maybe not the specific correct answer.
It's just Wings.
Well, that is not their answer.
Ah! You got it wrong, Rez.
Yeah, but how could you expect anybody? Oh, wait. You knew this.
That's me.
What's not you?
Yes, because I knew that answer.
Okay, so what if they're from a different timeline?
Ooh, and there could be a different award winner.
Exactly. So what if their answer is correct in their universe, and we've somehow stumbled into some sort of nexus?
If you give me a momentum, I will remind you of something.
Yeah, we have 4. You can have one of our momentum.
Right.
Sure, why not?
Tabris, remember an earlier roll to shield your mind? Did that
Mhm.
succeed or fail for you?
Oh yeah, that's true. That's true. All right, so I think that
Yeah, you think something. What should we? Listen, I theorize that we may be from varying universes, and if we were to make actual physical contact, we may cause some sort of cascading matter, pseudomatter reaction, and I don't want to destroy us all. So we're gonna back away now, I think.
Yeah, that sounds like a good idea. And they start backing up too.
oh wait, actually, could we shake hands?
No.
No?
I mean, if you want to risk some sort of universe ending style reaction where the matter from their universe.
But see, I don't think that's the case. I mean, he didn't say Wings. He didn't say The Racket. He didn't say Seventh Heaven, which were all of the ones that were nominated.
Listen, Tabris, if you want to risk it, I trust you. So you go ahead.
All right. Hey, Tabris! And he walks forward, extending his hand.
All right. And Tabris, too, does the same, sort of meet you halfway. And this is going to be a great cliffhanger for break. But Tabris, as you shake hands with yourself, you get the overwhelming sense that something is very, very wrong. And that feeling is justified because seconds later, what was Tabris becomes a undulating mass of black material that, almost like venom, almost latches onto your skin and begins spreading up your arm. And that's where we're going to go to break. We will be back in 10 minutes, everybody. Stick around. All right, and welcome back a little bit early. If you're just tuning in, the players are in a bit of a conundrum. They're in a dome city made out of materials they don't quite understand, facing down copies of themselves, or seemingly copies, as when Tabris went to shake hands with himself, he ended up getting venomed. So we will resume there. So Tabris, a venom-like creature is what's the word? Coagulating up your arm, and is attempting to otherwise embed itself into your flesh.
Tabris is going to quote one of his most one of the singers he admires most, and he's just going to try to shake it off.
Oh, okay. You may do a let's do a fitness and a security difficulty of 2 here.
And I'm going to give you a momentum so I can get an extra die.
All right.
And I'm assuming hand-to-hand combat.
Most definitely would apply.
Look at
Very
that.
nice. So that is 3 successes. So you are now at a total of 3 momentum. So yeah, what you're able to do is you're able to literally shake your arm and like fling it to the ground next to res number 2. And sure enough, res number 2 does the same thing where it stops being a copy of res itself and turns into a an undulating mass of black goo. So you now are facing essentially what are 2 black oozes that were once you. We're going to go into initiative order.
Awesome.
All right, so it is technically your guys' turn. What would you like to do?
Tabris is going to set his phaser on a wide spread, and he is going to shoot them both.
Okay, that would be a control and a security at a difficulty of 2.
And because we have momentum, I'm going to use it.
Okay.
And let's see. What is the other piece of this equation? I'll take the aim minor action.
Okay, well, in order to put your phaser on area, that would be part of your charge, which would be a minor.
Oh, okay.
But you could spend 1 momentum to do a second minor.
Yeah.
What the hell?
Good. All right. And so both of those things, because I have Deadeye Marksman, so that'll lower the difficulty by 1.
All right.
And that was
control security.
3 dice, difficulty 1. And here we go.
Very nice. 2 successes, which means you get 1 momentum, and you could even re-roll that 0 if you so wished.
No, but I am going to roll a challenge die.
Yes.
For untapped potential.
Very nice. A 2, which I believe means 2 momentum more for you. All right. So you are able to hit. So let's see. 6 challenge die for damage on your phaser. Very nice. So what happens is when you phaser the 2 copies of yourselves, or what were the 2 copies, you actually finish the encounter right away. They are stunned because you didn't say you were firing lethal. Right. They're stunned, so instead of being squirming masses of black, they sort of become like almost like a congealed ooze that sits on the bottom of a pool or at the top of the pool, and they just sort of sit there inert for a moment.
All right, we should leave.
Yeah.
All right. We should try one of the other buildings, though.
And actually, what happens is when you guys turn to leave, coming in the doorway behind you is your robot friend from earlier.
Oh, God.
And your robot friend makes to look like it's going to just move right past you two.
I'm going to let him go past us and see what he's doing to the goo.
Okay.
Yeah, I freeze. I just don't move at all.
All right. Well, because you stayed still, what happens is he moves, or it moves until it is right up next to the oozes, and then a panel opens up in one of the second boxes close to the head, and a little knob comes out, and you recognize this is a disruptor. It disrupts both of the piles of goo, which turn into piles of clothing, which the robot then begins to Roomba.
All right. I don't feel so bad about the robot anymore.
I mean, yes. All right, so do we want to head for the spire then?
Spire it is.
All right.
I mean, I'm still not super pleased with the word processing, but it may have been just a machine term.
Mm-hmm.
All right.
You know, you never know what a spire aspires to be.
All right, so you go back outside and you head for the spire because this whole excursion only happened 3 blocks away. Very easy for you guys to get to said spire. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to put us back on this map because it'll be able to show you something important. So you're at the tallest spire in the dome, which is this building here. But what you're noticing is that drifting above, almost locked in orbit above that spire, is the Troust, meaning it is no longer at the dock you put it in.
That's not good, Rez.
Wait. So if we just saw copies of ourselves, we should check when we get high enough to see if it's also at the dock we left it at.
That's a really good point. Can you try to communicate with it?
I don't know that I trust. We usually do that telepathically, and I don't know that I trust any telepathic.
I'll do it because
All
it
right.
seems to be different for me. Troust?
I'd like you to roll me a control and a command, please. Difficulty of 3.
Yeah, sure. I'll give you momentum.
All right.
You don't deserve it, but I'm going to give it to you anyway.
Fair.
Because there's no way I'm going to make this roll.
You just got to believe.
That's right.
I believe that I will not make this roll.
I believe in you.
Nice.
Oh, God.
Nice.
However mistakenly that may be.
Do you want to use determination on this?
No.
No. Okay. So you cast out your mind and you get a glaringly nothing back, as in you can't even sense Rez next to you back.
All right. I think this is messing with my head, this whole place.
I think we can confirm just through all the experiences that it's messing with both of our heads.
All right. Well, let's see what's out there. Let's go to the spire.
All right. So when you arrive at the base of the spire, again, it's these 2 very large buildings with a sky bridge connecting them. And as you look up at the sky bridge, what you see is along the surface of what appears to be a glass facing structure. On every single one of the panels, there are robots, like mini Roombas, that are just sort of cleaning the glass. But what's really important is that this spire, everything up to this point looks like nature has overrun it. The spire looks like you could go down to any city in real life, to the city center, and it would look completely fine. So there's definitely a difference here in terms of style and a way that the environment is displaying itself.
Tabris, I want you to do me a favor.
Mm-hmm.
I want you to think of a way that you could test whether the Troust that we get aboard is the Troust that we should get aboard. Don't tell me about it. Don't talk about it out loud. Just think of a way that you can confirm the veracity of any ship we get aboard, because my greatest nightmare at the moment is that you and I will get aboard an ooze ship and get just outside of range of anything that could help us, and then it turns into ooze and digests us. All right?
I got it.
Cool.
I already know what I'm doing.
In the meantime, here, take this tricorder. I've intensified the linear photon polarizer. So what should happen is if you press that central button that I've had the tricorder illuminate, it'll cause an electric field around you. So if you get too close to one of those, it should intensify the electrical field around you, sort of like a primitive stun weapon, which should protect you from being touched by any of those black oozes again, I think.
Okay.
However, it's one-time use only. So if you do it once, that'll burn out all the circuits on that tricorder.
All right.
All right, let's get in the spire
Mm-hmm.
All right.
and be processed, I guess.
Now, mostly for flavor purposes, there's actually like a turnstile style door. There's an actual push door, and then there is a sliding door. Which door would you like to go through?
When you say turnstile, do you mean like the
Revolving
rotating-
door.
The revolving door. That's what it's called. Yeah.
Yes, we go through the revolving door.
Oh yeah, for sure.
Now I have a question. Do you both do
We're
that
both
thing where you
we're
go
both
on...
going into the same wedge.
Okay. So you manage to get through the same wedge, and when you come out on the other side, what you find yourselves in is almost like a nice like 5-star or 4-star hotel lobby, where there's even like a fountain in there. There's a front desk where behind is seated one of the robots. And it just seems very nice in here. It's very pleasant, very calming, very soothing. But as you come in, the robot sort of turns its head to look at you and says, "Welcome to Prison Facility Alpha 9. You are at the Warden's office. How may I assist you?"
We were instructed to report here for processing.
And then it makes a few bits of beeps and chirps and says, "You are not a designated prisoner of this facility. Please state your reason for being."
We're here to visit.
Diplomatic relations.
Error. The Warden is not available at this time. Error.
What?
Power supplies are failing in Junction 9A.
When is the Warden available?
The Warden has not been available for 9, and it repeats nines for a very, very long period of time before it says days.
Oh. Computer, explain the power situation.
The prisoners have broken into the power supply. They are attempting to... And then the computer stops and says, "Error, you do not have sufficient clearance for this information."
Where is 9A?
It doesn't say or do anything.
All right, Tabris, here are our options. We can try and go and repair the power supply, which I feel would put us in direct conflict with the prisoners of this place, who we have no idea what they're capable of or why they're being imprisoned.
For being
Or-
black oozes.
Yeah, but being a black ooze isn't necessarily a crime. I mean, it's not a crime with Undine anyway. I mean, if it turns out that there's some sort of symbiotic being that tries to latch on and control its host, then yeah, then we have a problem. Like that Spider-Man comic you gave me. But if it turns out that they're just like regular life forms who happen to be able to shapeshift and regularly are black oozes, then I mean, they don't need to be. That's not a crime.
Oh, so kind of like changelings.
Yes, kind of like changelings, except they were like more like a gold ooze, right?
Mhm.
Yeah.
And there was red ooze in the comics, but I don't remember any gold ooze.
No, I mean, maybe I haven't gotten that far. I only remember the black ooze that eventually became the Brock, right?
Yeah, you eventually come across red ooze.
Oh.
Mhm.
Oh, I'll have to keep reading, I guess. Okay, and our other option is to try and make our way to the Troust and get our very confused butts out of this station before we accidentally get locked in here.
Well, it is
And-
a prison. Go ahead.
Mhm.
What I would say is that the robot actually replies and says, "Are you the owners of the ship we have moved above?"
Yes, that is our ship, the Troust.
We have disabled the jamming signal. You may communicate freely.
Oh, Troust, are you all right?
What? And the Troust comes over in a very concerned, almost matronly way. Are you guys all right? One moment I was being jammed to all hell. The next you guys were gone. I freaked out. I did circuits of the area. I went up to the sun and I checked the sun out. I thought maybe you flew in there like one of Tabris's harebrained schemes to chest something. Yeah, where are you? Are you in the spire?
We are in the spire, yes.
Okay.
Apparently, this is a prison, and the prisoners have taken over and are sabotaging the power supply.
Should I beam you up or?
Well, Tabris, what do you think? Computer, how long until the power supply problem becomes catastrophic?
Approximately. Error. You do not have access to this information. But hopefully what you're getting is that it's trying to reply, and then it's like catching up and not realizing you have the access level.
Tabris goes over, kind of leans against the check-in stand.
Mm-hmm.
I'd like to introduce you to the new warden, Mr. Rez. We were sent by corporate.
Roll me a presence and a command difficulty of a 4. And hey, if you pass it, good things.
I mean, we've got 3 momentum that you can
I'm
throw at it,
using
giving
it-
you 2 extra dice.
I am using 2 momentum,
Mm-hmm.
and I am going to now spend my determination.
Okay.
And I'm actually going to use my value of admirer of human culture
Mhm.
because he's seen this in a ton of different movies.
Okay. Yeah, I'll let it happen.
And since I am using it in such a way to tap into my admiration of human culture, can I have the focus of human trivia?
Yeah, I'll let it happen.
Nice.
See, you just have to BS your way through all the shit and you can get 4 successes.
Nice. So the robot now turns to you, Rez, and says,
Oh, and 2 momentum.
new warden, please input command code.
I input the date, today's date. So 12 alpha, no, 17 alpha 2.3.
Command code accepted. There is a message from the previous warden. Would you like for it to be played?
Yes, put on screen.
So it doesn't actually display anything, but a voice comes from the robot. And it's a very strained tone, as if the person speaking is in pain or is otherwise under duress. And what they say is, listen, whoever the hell hears this, hopefully someone hears this, just blow this damn place up. The prisoners aren't worth it. It would take too long to explain the crimes they're committed and the reason they're incarcerated, but just take it from me. Damn bastards got me. I only have a few minutes left. Don't turn into one of them. Don't let them get a hold of you. And then the message stops.
Being that was the final request of the previous owner of this vessel, I think it would be prudent for us to begin a self-destruct process.
Sure. Computer, wait. Computer, give me a brief synopsis of prisoner crimes.
And the robot begins listing everything from petty larceny to first-degree murder to hate crimes to literally every single crime you could think of under the sun.
Oh, there's no way we're going to be able to comb through the prisoners and find that. All right. Computer, what is the current state of the power supply?
Approximately 3 minutes until detonation.
Oh, all right. Try, oh boy, Tabris. Let's go. Let's just go because we gotta get out of range. This station is big enough that the explosion of that magnitude, we're gonna need to book it. For lack of a better term. Travis, beam us up.
And yeah. So the quote unquote final scene is of all of you beaming up to the Troust. And as the Troust zooms away, the city, the lower part of it, begins to glow, and it sort of consumes itself in a ball of light and then detonates with a massive shockwave that even maybe blows away some of the clouds on the Class J gas giant.
Some of those clothes floating.
Yeah,
some of the clothes
from
just
earlier.
floating through the space.
Oh boy.
But yeah, that is kind of the end of the adventure today. What did you guys think?
That's very good.
Yes, I enjoyed it. I'm wondering what your thoughts were on how it would go.
Honestly, it went a lot better than I thought it would. I was a little bit worried that the red herrings I was throwing out would like totally derail you guys, but you guys pretty much stayed on track, which I loved.
It's excellent. Yes, I also enjoy that we never really lost that sense of like, all right, well, we're just kind of poking around, seeing what we're doing. Despite
and
the
we
fact
were still pretty happy-go-lucky the whole time.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah, this is sort of a modification of Shift and an adventure I've run for 40K before, to sort of give you a little bit behind the scenes. So yeah, basically those black oozes, if they had gotten a hold of Tabris, they would have turned him into a black ooze, and then they would have gone for you. But yeah, the black oozes were prisoners, basically. They were consuming shapeshifters. And the whole reason that the whole mind thing was going on was because the black oozes also were telepathic. So that's why you guys were experiencing certain things, and why if you guys weren't Undine, I would have had you roll a fitness check for that snow cone. But you were Undine, so I didn't have you guys roll.
It was funny because I talked about how he might have the heebie-jeebies was a disease, and then I remembered we were Undine partway through the beginning, and I was like, yeah, I guess he wouldn't have a disease. I wouldn't have asked for that.
Right.
Oh well.
But yeah, I wanted to ask, before we ended the stream, did you guys have any requests for types of episodes we could do next?
If you're looking for suggestions, I can think of I think the stuff we've done is really good. I'm a big fan of the mystery ones, and first contacts are always fun. But I have enjoyed everything you've come up with so far, so I don't feel like we're headed in a bad direction or anything.
Yeah, right. I would echo Brian's statements.
Gotcha. All right. So, looking at the calendar,
of no help to you at all.
Yeah. if you are genuinely looking for suggestions.
No, I mean I just wanted to get a general feel of what you guys were wanting. Cool. All right. So looking at the calendar, I actually have to skip the 20th, but would you guys be good for the 27th?
Yep. Sure.
Alrighty. Well, Twitch and YouTube, you will see these lovely gentlemen next Friday, the 27th. But before I kill the stream, I am going to kill the recording, so YouTube, see you later.